Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can add Python into Excel. So this is a really big development, and so far it is only a beta version. You need to be part of the Microsoft Insiders in order to get access to it, but I think it's going to be really useful and powerful, and certainly if you're doing anything more than basics in Excel, this is going to be really helpful. So in order to access the Insiders program, if you haven't already, we need to go to File and then to Account. And so in Account, you should hopefully have a button like this for the Microsoft 365 Insider. We click on that and we can join the Insider program. We tick, we are agreeing to some various different bits and pieces here. So they are going to be collecting more data from our system, which I guess is the trade-off for us being able to access this new stuff. And we want to change from current channel to beta channel. So beta channel, we are going to get access to these newer features as they roll out. Only downside being is that we are going to perhaps run into a few bugs because this is still under development. So tick the boxes, hit OK. We will need to OK it, and that is going to sign us up. Once we've done that, then Microsoft is going to start running some of the updates to Office for us to get us into the beta versions. So you won't necessarily get Python straight away. They are rolling it out currently to the beta testers on a particular build. We could look at help and see exactly what it is, or if you Google up on the Microsoft site, they give the long something version number. But even when you have that number, it will come up at some stage. I think for me, it's been about a week since I flicked over to the beta version. And so when we come to formulas, we can see we now have Python here. So this is pretty exciting. You might ask, well, who's this for? And there's certainly people that it's clearly not for. So if you are really a developer or a data engineer, you're working in environments, or if you're actually coding in Python to make stuff, probably not for you. But there's still a ton of people that do a lot of analytics in Excel. And this really extends it a long way. So in this video, I am just going to show some very basic things, but certainly in the future I will be looking at producing a whole lot more content with Python, partly because I just want to learn Python myself, having used R for so many years, but also seeing how we can use Python within Excel to really extend those capabilities. So when we are using Python in Excel, it evaluates the different cells that we put Python into from left to right and then top to bottom. And what we do is we're just using this insert Python button. When we get going, to start with, this won't really matter, but we've got initialization. And so this tells us what import statements, what things are loaded up front. And certainly for the time being, I wouldn't be worrying too much about that. And then we have diagnostics. So whenever we encounter any errors in our Python coding, this will pop up in a box and it will give us an error. The errors aren't always super informative, but at least they do let you know that something's not working. So if we jump into this first box, in order to get this, I've just gone insert Python, and we get the little py here. And we'll get this box and we can add multiple lines of Python code. When we hit enter, that just takes us to a new line. To actually run this code, we need to hit Control and Enter together. So this line here that I've added, we are just taking this data, which is the famous iris data set. You can take me out of R, but I guess you can't take this away from me just yet. And we have just assigned columns B through F to a data frame called my data. And we've said headers equals true. So just like with R, it's just saying that their very first line is our variable names. So we run that and we end up with just sitting here in the cell where I ran it. So H4 is now a data frame. I can now refer to H4 and it will refer to this. Alternatively, when I'm using Python, I can just refer now to my data, and because it's set up as a data frame, it will refer to that. So the first thing I had to go of, I just said my data, .describe, and we go Control and Enter to run it. With any of our Python, we can see that we get this little busy sign for a second. And then when we click on it, we have options to be able to pull things out. So if we go the array.preview, and there's our describe box. So for each of our variables, we've got the count, mean, standard deviation, quartiles, median, maximum, all sitting there for us. And if we click on that, we can see that what's actually happened is it's called this j4.array preview in order to grab what happened in j4, which was our Python, and spit this out. So we can then format that as a table. Next one that I did, so I just went my data, we go .petalwidth.mean, just a nice simple one just to find the mean of petal width, and we can see it corresponds with what we had up here in our summary table. And then the last one that I did is just a very simple plot. So if we come down here, first thing I did is set up some data to graph. So I grouped my data by species name, and then for petal length, I found the mean petal length. So we grab that, and then we are going to do a bar plot of these means. So Control and Enter, and it has a bit of a think for a while. That's definitely one of the downsides, is that it does a wee bit on the slow side. And so we can pull out that image, and it just threw it. You can see there, h16.image. Threw it there. That's not really very helpful to us. But what we can do is we can come picture in cell, place over cells, and that will blow it up to full size. So this was really just some very, very simple testing, just showing you the very, very basics of running Python in Excel. I'll certainly be doing some more videos where it's more comprehensive, both in terms of more complex use of Python, but also setting this up nicely as we would maybe an Excel worksheet that we're actually going to be presenting. Here I've just kind of thrown stuff all over the place just to show a graph, show a table, show a mean. But obviously if we were doing this in the workplace with Excel, then we would be wanting to set it up in a much more neat fashion. And we would also be wanting to actually harness things in Python we don't already have in Excel. All of these things that I just did just now, I could have just used Excel. So I didn't really gain much from using Python. But suppose I wanted to, say, do the classic cluster analysis, clustering up the different types of iris and then plotting them with a bit of color coding. That would be beyond what we could do in Excel. So just as an example of something that we wouldn't be able to do particularly easily just in base Excel, but with some Python code, would be relatively easy. So that's it for today. I hope this has been helpful. This is definitely a very exciting addition to Excel. And for me, something that is encouraging me to now do a bit more Python coding in addition to my R work. So I'm going to be out really soon. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon for more videos on stats, research, AI, and random stuff.